Look at Dan.
Damn.
Whoa. Okay, research.
Jesus, I went to. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm like, you know what? It's a Lupe episode. It's gonna be a short one. We're gonna have a good night.
This is
No.
probably gonna be a 2 or 3 part episode.
What?
No
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
I know. All he did is he texted me and said, "Get ready for an emotional roller coaster." I'm like, no.
Are you prepared for this?
Yeah. Are you
It's
prepared?
one thing about listening. It's
Yeah.
one thing to listen. It's a whole
And
different
it's
And
story.
just a ball game
one
to
thing
be
on
here.
a phone call, but yeah, behind this now to see how the
Oh my god.
sausage is made.
Yes.
Oh boy.
She only joined us so that Logan can hear her voice on recording when he gets free time.
Logan's not gonna listen to this.
I know. I wrote him a letter again today, and in my letter I said, Marisol's thinking about being a host, a permanent host with us. I go, but I don't know if she's figured out her work stuff yet or not. I said, I think that's awesome if she can figure it out. I said, personally, I don't know how financially good that is to drive all the way out here for an hour and a half recording every week, but if she wants to, I said, it's cool.
I need something to do Friday nights now.
And I said, and maybe you'll finally start listening to us if you know she's on it all the time.
I still highly doubt that. He gets a break for like 7 months from having to listen to my voice 24/7. So I.
Well, alrighty then.
On that note.
On that note.
Missing someone with all your heart. Missing someone with
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Impulsive Thoughts. Nice. I look over and I see you doing it. I'm like, and then I slow down and you look like you slowed down too.
I didn't want to say it out loud and mess you up like I did last week.
You messed me up anyway.
I know.
Anyway, I am joined here with Mr. Dano because to my right, I do not have Don.
No, you do not.
No, we have possibly our...
A drug. Fentanyl. Our permanent code host for a while.
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
If things work out. This is a trial run. We'll see if we like her or not.
Whoa.
We have Marisol.
Oh my god, that's the first time Lupe has ever said my name.
That's why we're clapping. We're clapping here for him saying it right, not for you being on the show.
I figured. We're proud.
That's actually really insensitive. The kids. Especially with the case that I'm about to do.
Oh, you're doing a kid case?
I am.
And for those reasons, I'm out.
So let me start off with saying listener discretion is advised. There's a lot of triggering things on this episode.
This is an early trigger warning.
Yes. It's okay. So the case is the Robb Elementary school shooting, where 19 kids were brutally murdered, and 2 teachers by an 18-year-old kid. And yes, I do say kid. I mean, 18 years old. That doesn't mean that he was an adult. He was barely an adult. He ended up slaughtering 19 kids, aging 9, 10, and 11 years old. It's a very sad case. But I wasn't sure how I was going to start this, but I guess that's
a good start right there. I guess we're fuck the joking this week.
Yeah, oh my god, no small talk, no nothing.
Welcome to boring impulsive thoughts, Marisol, where you
can't
joke.
Right in, oh my god. Dive head first, I guess.
Yeah. We threw you to the wolves today.
Yeah.
Picked a bad first episode.
See if I'm ready for this. All right.
Yes, this is going to be a very emotional episode.
Clear ducts clear. Okay.
Mentally preparing myself, taking my deep breaths.
As I what's the word I'm looking for? Not psychologically, not what's like something that is represents something. As I my brain's not working.
It doesn't matter.
I can't think of the word right now. As I, not hypothetically, as I had to say goodbye to my son, now we're going to talk about 19 kids. Okay.
Anyway.
What's the word I'm looking for? Damn
I
it.
don't know.
Theoretically.
No. It doesn't matter. It's late. It's been a week.
Jesus.
Shot.
So, so what I'm gonna do, because this might be a multi-part episode, I'm actually gonna read the names off of that were actually murdered, and then in the end, I'm going to read kind of like their stories behind them.
Okay.
So that might be our last episode of this case. So the 21 victims of the Uvalde school shooting. McKenna Lee Elrod, age 10. Layla Salazar, age 11. Miranda Mathis, age 11. Nevaeh Bravo, age 10. Jose Manuel Flores Jr., age 10. Xavier Lopez, age 10. Tess Marie Mata, age 10. Rogelio Torres, age 10. Eliana Eli Amaya Garcia, age 9. Eliana A. Torres, age 10. Annabelle Guadalupe Rodriguez, age 10. Jackie Casares, age 9. Uzziah Garcia, doesn't have an age for her, but they said that she was 10. JC Carmelo Luevanos, age 10. Maite Yoliana Rodriguez, age 10. Halaya Nicole Silguero, age 10. Irma Garcia, age 48. Eva Morales, age 44. Emery Joe Garza, age 10. Alexandria Lexi Anaya Rubio, age 10. Alethea Ramirez, age 10. So these were the 21 victims of the school shooting. There's actually a 22nd victim that ties into this. Kind of, I mean, he wasn't actually murdered, but it was the husband of, and I know I wrote it down, I just don't remember. Oh, here it is. It was the husband of Irma Garcia, Joe Garcia. 2 days after, at the memorial, he laid flowers at the memorial site, and then when he went back home, he died of a cardiac arrest.
Jesus.
And a lot of people said that he died of a broken heart because they were about to celebrate their 25th year anniversary.
All right.
So
19 kids, 2 adults in the school shooting.
yeah.
And then another adult from a broken heart.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the timeline of actually what happened.
Where is Uvalde at?
Uvalde is in Texas.
Okay, so
I believe it was not far from San Antonio. I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a background on the shooter, which I really didn't want to, but at the same time, like, kind of have to give you like a picture,
right?
Like paint a picture for you.
I know you don't want to glorify the
Right.
killer, but you can't really tell the
Exactly.
story without telling who he is.
Right. So, and I'm only going to say his name once. Other than that, he's a fucking dickhead, douchebag, whatever you want to call him. But he's pretty much a waste of space.
Garbage.
Yeah, absolutely.
His name was Salvador Ramos. He was born in Fargo, North Dakota on May 16, 2004. His father was never really in his life after he was born. When Salvador was a young child, his sister, who was older, and his mom moved to Uvalde. Adriana, who was his mom, had a criminal record and a long history of drug abuse. She was arrested twice and received 2 misdemeanors for family violence assault in 2007 and theft in 2005, both which were basically dropped. The theft charge was dropped, and the family violence assault, she just served probation.
Well, that couldn't affect him then because he was born in 04. If that one happened in 05,
Right.
You're old, okay.
So later on, the school shooter ended up getting a girlfriend, and his girlfriend said that she believed he was sexually assaulted by one of his mom's live-in boyfriends. He told his mother about the abuse, and she ultimately didn't believe him. These events would shape him into what he became later in life. In elementary school, his teachers said that he was a shy and quiet kid, but who and also struggled with a speech impediment. I guess he had a stutter. His pre-K teacher stated that he was a ready to learn student and was always a pleasure to have in class. By third grade, that changed. He started to fall behind in his schoolwork, and the school labeled him as at risk, and also wanted him to. They also wanted him to take speech therapy. In fourth grade, that was his most difficult year for him. His teachers stated that she noticed he needed extra help in his schoolwork in class, and he was bullied by this time. By his classmates.
That's fourth grade, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since he came from a low-income family, kids would bully him for not only his stutter, but the fact that he would wear the same clothes over and over again, his hair, and his lack of hygiene. One incident that was most memorable was a girl in his class tied his shoes together, so when he went to walk away, he would fall, injuring his face in the process.
Kids are assholes, too.
Yeah. Later in middle school, one of his classmates stated that he wasn't bullied, but that he was actually the bully himself. And he tried to look tough, doing everything that he would try to fight people and everything like that. Fast forward to 2020, he was still only in the 9th grade, and when the pandemic hit, the school shut down and started incorporating e-learning, so he completely stopped doing his schoolwork altogether. His mom also didn't make him do it, and he started to become more of a recluse, and he stayed in his room. His older sister ended up joining the Navy and moved out. October 28th, 2021, he officially dropped out of school and then eventually started picking up the hobby of mixed martial arts and boxing because a group of kids, aka friends, attempted to jump him. His girlfriend said his friends would
He had a girlfriend?
Yeah. His girlfriend said his friends would tease him and call him school shooter. His girlfriend also stated that the shooter would say that he didn't expect to live past 18 years old and that he hated his life. Mid-2021, his girlfriend broke up with him, and since she couldn't take the pessimism out of him anymore. So this was when he really started going off the deep end.
Downward spiral.
Yeah, so he started doing research. He became really big into dieting and his physical shape and everything like that. He started working out, but he also developed a eating disorder. He ended up getting a job at was it In-N-Out or Jack in the Box or something like that, and since he lived with his mom, he would just save money because he didn't have any expenses. He didn't have a car. He didn't have anything. So he started saving all this money, and he would tell all these kids, oh, I'm saving for this. But when he was telling them, he was saving for guns. He was saving for an AR-15 and ammo and everything like that. By the time he was 18, he would be able to purchase it because at the time he was younger than 18, so he couldn't legally purchase it.
Right.
And I believe he asked his uncle and his sister both if they would buy him the gun, and they both denied that. So later down the line, him and his mom would get into some serious heated fights, and he would live stream it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And it got to the point where his other family members would see it, and they finally called the cops and everything like that. So his mom ended up kicking him out of the house, and he ended up moving in with his grandmother. By September 2021, by September 20 what?
It's like we got a silent co-host.
Oh. It's Donnie.
Yeah.
Not everybody feels the need to interrupt.
Thank you. By September 2021, the shooter buys gun-related accessories and asked the clerk to oh no, the shooter buys gun-related accessories and asks for help to buy guns before turning 18, which I stated earlier.
Right. So you can buy accessories for a gun.
Yes.
You just can't buy the gun.
Exactly. So
That's
he
weird.
bought magazines. He bought a bulletproof vest.
So can you buy like clips and stuff, but you just can't buy bullets though, right?
Right.
See, I just don't understand why that stuff doesn't get tracked just as
Right.
hard as like gun purchases do.
Right,
Because you would
exactly.
think like
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's this guy loading up for? Eventually
Right,
the gun's
like guys,
gonna
that's foreshadowing. Come on now.
Yes. So let's see. In November 2021 and February 2022, the shooter also bought several gun-related accessories online that included rifle slings, a military carrier vest, and snap-on trigger system. He also bought 60 rounds of ammunition. Now online, it's very easy just to buy ammo.
I'm sure you lie about your birth date or something,
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
Are you 18 and over? Yes.
That was back before they made you submit pictures of your ID
Yeah.
to be able to do things online. Yeah.
So March to May 2022, the shooter alludes to his plans on social media. The gunman foreshadowed his plans for a mass shooting during several interactions on social media. He referenced doing something in May that would make him famous and put him all over the news. May 16th through 18th, 2022, the shooter purchases his guns and ammunition. The shooter finally turns 18, which I believe his birthday was, the 14th?
I don't remember what you said. So we literally just passed the anniversary of this happening then.
Yes, which I kind of wanted to do it last week, but at the same time, we were all busy, really.
We had ulterior motives. No, we had family problems, issues, not problems. What's the word I'm looking for?
Issues?
No, it wasn't issues.
Obligations?
There you go, obligations. That's the right word. Thank you.
Be here every
Young
Friday.
brain.
Mine only half works too, don't worry.
Still young. Brain.
Can't wait to hear her case.
This is the case of Facebook stealing my identity.
Give me 2 weeks.
Yeah, I got next week.
Yeah, it works out.
You can have the week after.
So the shooter turns 18. The legal age for purchasing a rifle in Texas on May 16th. That same day, he purchased a Daniel Defense AR-15 style rifle and 1,740 rounds of ammunition.
The same day he turned 18?
Yes.
I thought there was like a 3-day waiting period.
In Illinois, there's a 3-day waiting period.
That's not countrywide?
It's not countrywide. No. The next day, he purchased a Smith & Wesson AR-15 style rifle and returns the following day to purchase an additional 375 rounds of ammunition. And
I'm sorry, so this kid is sitting on, like, what, 1,500?
17, almost 2,000 rounds.
Jeez.
And 3 rifles now.
Yeah, 2.
2? I thought he came back 3 days in a row to buy them.
No.
Oh, no, the first day he bought it, the second day was just ammunition, third day was another rifle.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, and then returns the following day to purchase an additional 375 rounds. Okay. In total, he spent at least $4,896 on weapons, ammunition, and accessories. Okay. So, now, going forward, and there's stuff I did leave out, like, before the actual day of the shooting, which was May 24th, 2022, he was messaging people on Facebook or Instagram and stuff like that and tagging people saying, I guess he had found this model in Germany and tagged her in pictures of his guns and said, please repost this. I want to be famous and shit like that. Like I said, there's a whole section I left out. But, so the day of the shooting, on May 24th, 2022, 11:06 to 11:20 a.m., the shooter sends a text message before shooting his grandmother in the face. The gunman begins sending text messages to an online friend in Germany about being annoyed with his grandmother and that he was about to do something to her right now. 11:21 a.m., final text message the shooter sent to the German friend, "I just shot my grandma in her head. I'm going to go shoot up an elementary school right now." 11:22 to 11:27 a.m. The shooter steals his grandmother's Ford F-150 and drives to the school. After the gunman shoots his grandmother in the face, he steals her truck and drives from her home to Robb Elementary School, which is a few blocks away. The grandmother, who survived being shot, seeks help from a neighbor. Before the gunman arrives at the school, a teacher props open the door on the west side of the building with a rock. I believe it was so she can run to her vehicle to grab her phone out of her car.
Oh my God.
11:28, the shooter arrives near the school, crashes the vehicle in a ditch near the school. He exits the vehicle, fires 3 rounds with his gun at 2 male witnesses near a funeral home, and then flees. The 2 witnesses are unharmed and call 911. The funeral home was Geraldine St. Hillcrest Memorial Funeral Home. At 11:29, the door on the west side of the building is closed. This is where the teacher had propped it open.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that felt weird. I thought the cat was rubbing against me.
It's just me.
Fuck. So the same teacher who earlier propped open the door on the west side of the building sees the gunman approaching and slams the door shut. She yells for the students to get into the classrooms and calls 911, according to school surveillance footage. Authorities originally said the teacher had left the door propped open, which was false.
So she closed the door. Okay.
Yes. So, and I'm going to bring this up before I go further. Uvalde School District had their own police officers. The chief of police was Pete Arredondo. The second in command was Lieutenant Mike Hernandez, and third was Director of Student Services Mike Mueller.
This is inside the school.
Yes.
That's weird.
In their policy, if a school shooting was to occur at any of the campuses in their district, the person in charge would be Pete Arredondo. He would be in charge of all officers and first responders that responded to the scene. He would be in charge securing the area, gathering information about where everyone is in the school, and basically he would be in charge of everything. So that was like, I know the cat probably has her toy in her mouth.
Oh.
That's what she does. So Pete Arredondo was got the report that there was a shooting at the school, so he was on his way to the school.
So there's multiple schools, I'm guessing, obviously,
Yes.
then. Okay.
Yes.
So he wasn't on the scene already. Okay.
And I know I wrote it down. I don't know if I wrote it down or what I did with it, but let's see. I might have wrote it down. Maybe not. So Pete Arredondo would have been, the chief of command, basically.
Right.
Like he was the main guy who made everything, like told everybody what to do and how to do it and everything like that.
Yeah.
He had 2 radios on him when he was running to this school. He said that he wanted both hands on his radio or on his gun just in case he encountered the shooter, so he dropped both radios.
Oh, my God.
He let them go.
So he's not communicating with
So
anyone.
he's not able to communicate with
Yeah.
anybody. Keep that in mind. 11:30 a.m., Coach Yvette Silva sees the shooter, warns students.
Is he in the building yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
The gunman tosses a backpack over the 5-foot fence that was around the perimeter of the school property and then climbs over it. Robb Elementary coach Yvette Silva sees the gunman begin to shoot. She runs away and tells a group of 3rd graders to lock down. She used the school radio to report the incident. Also at 11:30, Coach Yvette Silva reports this over the school radio. Coach Silva to office. Somebody just jumped over the fence and he's shooting. 11:31. Shooter walks through the parking lot. The shooter reaches the last row of the school parking lot, firing his rifle from between vehicles. Surveillance footage from the funeral home also shows a school district police patrol vehicle entering the school parking lot and driving by the concealed shooter. 11:32 a.m.
So it could have been stopped right there.
Yep. 11:32 a.m. Gunman fires multiple shots outside the school. The gunman fires shots through windows into rooms on the west side of the school, according to funeral home video footage, and audio file from internet school surveillance. According to Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training Center report, a Uvalde police officer sees the gunman outside and asks his supervisor for permission to shoot. Days after the alert report was released, Uvalde Mayor Don McLaughlin disputed that such an event happened. According to a Texas House Committee report, the person the officer saw was not the gunman, but Robb Elementary coach Abraham Gonzalez. So thank God he did not shoot at this guy.
Right. So I have a question too now. So
Yeah.
This is 2022. Have there been? I mean, I know kind of there have been, but was school shootings prevalent in Texas or in Uvalde alone, or do they have enough warnings or threats that they have like you said, they have their own police with a already plan, or am I that naive to not know that all schools have those already back in 2022?
So I know TF South had their own armed security guard.
But I mean, they have a shooting plan already in place?
I would assume so. I know growing up in Chicago, we did have active shooter drills.
The first...
I'm just out of school.
Oh, yeah,
hey, guys.
right.
Hey! We had to do lockdown drills growing up,
Really?
all through school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even in high
Okay.
school, we used to have school resource officers and everything like that. And we had anonymous tip offices too.
Yeah.
Where it's if we heard and that's what I'm having such a hard time trying to process right now is because there were so many warning signs.
Mm-hmm.
He sent out messages. He put
Yeah.
he put everything out there. Why did no one report this?
So there were. Okay, so he was on a French chat program thing, kind of like Omegle or whatever the hell that thing is. It was called Uvo, I think.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And he would tell people on there, everybody deserves to be raped and killed. I mean, and he was reported on this site, and they would just ban his profile or his account for a few days, and that was it.
Oh, my gosh.
So you're right. I mean, he was reported, but nobody did anything. And that's what's so fucked up.
Just the complete lack of failure on
Yeah, and even when he was working at I know he ended up going he got fired from In-N-Out or whatever the first job he had. He ended up going to Wendy's, and he told everybody at Wendy's that he was going to shoot up the Wendy's.
Any kind of follow through at all by anyone could have
stopped this.
and that's all it really would have taken is just one person to just be this is where this kid's at. You should probably let people know that this is something they should look out for.
Right. I mean, even some of his classmates said that when he was in school, they noticed a difference in him, the way he would dress, the way his hair was very unkempt and stuff like that, and they would call him school shooter.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
But
we digress.
yes. Now, with that being said, this case is so fucked up, and you're gonna understand why. Fuck him. These fucking police officers were a problem. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to explain more. Okay.
Well, it sounds already again, I know very little about this case. I've seen it in the news, and this one I remember affected me a lot. Again, you know how I know the anniversary just passed too? One of my Facebook memories, I made a long-ass post about something like this and about how, it was right around the time Jamie was interviewing preschools for Rylan to go to. Mm-hmm. And in my post that I wrote, I go, it's sad that as I'm talking to Jamie, I had to ask her, hey, what are the protection policies there? Do they have thick glass? Is there a lot of mirrors there? Or a lot of windows there? And I read my post and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, this was back when that school shooting happened. And now here it is. We're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fresh in my mind because I literally just read my post the other day because I read my memories every day. I'm weird like that. I got to see what I wrote 8 years ago. But
I scroll through those. I don't want to see what I was writing 8 years ago.
I'm
always
like,
read
oh
them.
man, that's so cringy. Let me delete that one.
I read them every year, every day. I read them. So it's like this affected me. I remember this because kid stuff bothers me so much, and the fact that it was 19 kids 10 years and younger, and yeah, Rylan was only 3 back then, and Easton was 5, but it was like, yeah, my kids are almost that age, like, and I got to worry about someone shooting them when they didn't do nothing wrong. Like, they're the most innocent of the innocent, you know? So, like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the timeline.
Yes.
11:32. The school goes into lockdown. Upon hearing Coach Silva's report over the radio, the principal and head custodian of the school started to implement a lockdown, including sending out an alert. Teachers in the school began to tell their students to hide inside the classrooms. Some also closed and locked the doors. Now, most of these doors, which I know I have it written down somewhere over here, most of these doors were to be locked during school hours anyway, and if they didn't lock, the staff was to immediately report the issue so they could be fixed.
Oh, like if they couldn't lock, not that the teacher didn't lock them.
Right.
Okay.
11:33. The shooter finally enters the school. The shooter enters the school through a back door on the northwest side of the school. The door had been closed earlier by the teacher, but it was either already unlocked or the lock failed to engage, which the teacher could not have known because the door is locked from the outside. None of the 3 exterior doors to the building were locked, in violation of school policy, according to the report.
Jesus.
The gunman walks into classroom 111 and doesn't appear to encounter a locked door, according to school surveillance footage. A report from the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training Center also determined that the shooter didn't appear to encounter a locked door. The Texas House Committee report elaborates that the door did not lock properly and that it was widely a known fact around the school. Arnolfo Reyes, the room's teacher, had also reported the condition of this door in the past.
Oh. So he did his job then.
Yes. The shooter briefly walks out the classroom door and then goes back in, shooting some more. He shoots at least 100 rounds in over 2.5 minutes.
Jesus.
Inside rooms 111 and 112, which are connected. Children's screams can be heard in the school surveillance footage. In addition, one of the bullets passed through the walls and struck a teacher in nearby room 109, who survived, according to the Texas House Committee report. The attacker fired most of his shots and likely murdered most of his innocent victims before any responder set foot in the building. Gunman entered northwest entrance 116 restroom. Gunman briefly walked out of classroom 111 and then went back into 112. 11:34, nothing happened. Meaning no reports of police officers yet. 11:35, Uvalde police entered the school. 2 separate groups of police officers entered the building from different directions. 3 Uvalde police officers rushed to the same door that the gunman used to enter, which was closed. Surveillance footage shows the officers all have pistols, and 2 of them have rifles. One officer has external armor, and 2 are wearing concealable armor. At the same time, 4 officers entered the school through the south entrance. Pete Arredondo, the chief of the school's district police department, another school district officer, and 2 Uvalde police officers. Arredondo does not have his radios. Arredondo wanted both hands on his gun if he encountered the shooter, and believed the radios would have slowed him down. His attorney later told the Tribune, according to the Texas House Committee report, he testified that he was fumbling with them. When he got out of his vehicle, he decided to drop them by the school fence, knowing that Sergeant Daniel Coronado with the Uvalde Police Department was there and fully uniformed with his radio. Now, let me backtrack. Arredondo. So Uvalde was one of the few school districts who submitted a viable active shooter policy in which staff was to check classroom doors and windows that should be locked and secured. And what I was saying earlier about Arredondo, that he was the one in charge. He was supposed to be the one that was in charge. He was the one that was supposed to give the commands for everybody.
Right. So dropping your...
Tell me you don't have a radio?
Yeah.
Right. Dropping your radio because you're fumbling with them, but who's going to give the charge? Oh, wow.
Yeah. 11:36 in the morning. More law enforcement officers enter the school. School surveillance footage shows 4 more law enforcement officers entering the school through the same door that the gunman used. 3 of these officers are with the Uvalde Police Department and one is a Uvalde School District police officer. Meanwhile, the first group of law enforcement officers approached classrooms 111 and 112. The officers said that they heard gunfire inside the building as they were approaching and saw a cloud of debris as well as bullet holes in the walls. However, the Texas House Committee reports said that none of the officers recalled hearing screams or having any understanding that people had been shot in the classrooms.
Okay.
They
were
were
dead already.
Not only that, they were doing what we were told to do during an active shooter.
To not make noise.
To not make noise.
Oh, see, I never went through, and that's why I didn't know that. So you're told to be quiet.
Yeah.
They shut all the lights off. They push you like up against the wall that like the door is on. So you like if you look in the classroom, it looks empty.
Yeah.
Except now they teach you actually to barricade the doors.
Yeah.
They teach you to barricade the doors first and then hide.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary shit. Like I couldn't imagine even being a kid practicing that.
Yeah.
Much less now going. No, I don't know. I see. I can't. Do
Welcome to high school.
11:37 a.m. Gunman fires more rounds and drives officers away. One of the officers peered into the vestibule for rooms 111 and 112. He and another officer faced gunfire and immediately retreated to the north end of the hallways. Fucking why?
Yeah, you're trained to do this. You're supposed to walk.
You're an officer of the law.
Yeah.
If you're going to run away from fire, why the fuck do you have a badge?
Turn your badge in now.
Where was I? After retreating, Uvalde Police Lieutenant Javier Martinez advances again towards the hallway, but no other officers follow him. According to the Texas House Committee report, several law enforcement officers said that Martinez might have made it to the classroom and engaged with the shooter if others had followed him. 11:38 a.m. Law enforcement indicates that the suspect is contained. After 11 rounds, the gunman stopped firing, according to an audio analysis from the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training Center. After the gunman stops firing, Arredondo checks room 110 and finds it empty, noting there's no babies in here. It's awards day. He then testified that he prayed that if room 110 was empty, the children might be gone from the rooms occupied by the attacker as well. Other law enforcement also testified that they heard no scream or cries coming from the rooms and did not know anyone was in need of medical attention. Arredondo, along with other officers, then began to treat the gunman as a barricaded subject rather than an active shooter. However, the Texas House Committee said that this approach never changed over the course of the incident, despite evidence that Chief Arredondo's perspective evolved to a later understanding that fatalities and injuries with the classrooms were a very strong probability. 11:40 a.m. According to 911 records, Arredondo calls the landline of the Uvalde Police Department from his cell phone to describe the situation. He asked for a SWAT team and a radio. However, the commander of the Uvalde SWAT team was actually among the first officers to arrive from the north side of the building. You're calling for a fucking radio?
That's what I just laughed at. You're calling for a radio.
Yeah, that's what we were just
You had
at.
2 radios on you, and you dropped them both, and now you're calling from your cell phone, of all things.
I'm sure the radio would have been easier to handle than dialing a cell phone.
Right. Meanwhile, the suspect fires 1 round, according to an audio analysis from the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training Center. 11:41 a.m. Law enforcement indicates suspect is barricaded and is still shooting. Uvalde Police Sergeant Coronado requests shields and flashbangs from the police department and helicopter support and ballistic shields from the Texas Department of Public Safety. Law enforcement dispatch asks if the door is locked, and he replies that they don't know, but that they have a halogen, an axe-like firefighting tool used to breach doors. The House Committee reports said that no officers tested whether the classroom doors were locked. Dispatch also asked if there were students inside room 112 where radio traffic indicated the shooter was, and Coronado responded by requesting a mirror to look around corners. A voice on the radio replied, "Class should be in session." Meanwhile, 4 additional law enforcement officers entered the school from an east hallway. 11:42 a.m. Children begin to be evacuated. Johnny Field, an Uvalde County constable, arrives at the north end of the hallway and talks over the phone with Arredondo, who is in the south hallway. They discuss the need to evacuate children. Several officers begin breaking classroom windows to evacuate students from the building. 11:43 a.m. Robb Elementary and Uvalde police post on Facebook.
What?
Robb Elementary announces on Facebook it is under a lockdown status due to gunshots in the area.
In the area.
The students and staff are safe in the building. The building is secure in a lockdown status, school officials say in the announcement.
Isn't that like illegal?
So they did that to keep, I guess, the parents from...
Right.
Yeah, I understand that, but like that's like huge like misinformation.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm...
Like what's going to happen when parent, like as a, like if I were, hypothetically, were a parent that like is reading this message, I'd be like, okay, to find out later that they're not actually safe in the building. Like, I'd be filing every lawsuit under the sun.
Oh, and it did. It happened.
See, that's now me having gone through this with, there was an active shooter drill at Easton School last year. Not a drill, but there was someone with a gun.
Wasn't that the whole
like
central thing?
The bomb threat. That's right.
Yeah.
There was a bomb threat.
Oh, yeah.
And we were notified right away that there was a bomb threat and that, I forgot how it went now, it's been so long, but okay, here's the thing. As a parent, I want to know everything that's going on. But trying to wear the other shoes as like an official, if you put out, first of all, why are you putting it out on Facebook? There should be like, I mean, I get text messages from the school or instant
like
voicemail.
Right.
But if you put that out, hey, by the way, our school's under fire right now, you're going to have how many students, that many parents now trying to come in. So it's a double-edged sword. Do you not tell the truth and then deal with the consequences later, or do you tell the truth and you have 6,000 parents now trying to break into the school?
But that's the thing with like additional resources too. Like if you're calling all these people in, like 9 times out of 10, not all of these people are for direct response to the situation. It's to help keep the scene under control.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why, it's I can see the not putting the whole truth out there. But I think it might have been better just to be silent than to lie about it, maybe. And then after it's all said and done.
I guess that's what I'm like. Or like, just not.
I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know how to feel on that one. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, again, I want to know everything.
Right.
But then also as a parent, I know I'd be one of the ones driving to the school right now. And then I'm going to be more in the way than a help,
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be like, get the fuck out of my way. Where's my kid,
Yeah. So...
Okay, go ahead.
So they posted on Facebook, and at the end they put... At the same time, the Uvalde Police Department posts on Facebook, large police presence at Robb Elementary. We ask that public avoid the area. 11:48 a.m. So 11:43 to 11:48. Nothing has happened yet. They still have not taken the threat. They still have not taken down the shooter.
They're asking for mirrors to look around corners, and they're breaking out windows to take kids out. Yeah.
11:48 a.m., officer reports his wife has been shot. Uvalde School District Police Officer Ruben Ruiz is among law enforcement inside the school where his wife, Eva Morales, is a teacher. Ruiz can be heard telling other officers that Morales has been shot, according to the transcript of police body camera footage. He is then escorted out of the building and stripped of his weapon because they did not want him to go in there.
They didn't want him to go rogue and kill the guy.
11:50 in the morning. Coronado says that people need to get out of the hallway and proclaims Chief Arredondo is in there. Chief is in charge right now. Hold on. 11:51 to 11:52. More police arrive. School surveillance footage shows 7 law enforcement officers enter the door on the northwest side of the school, the same entrance the gunman used. A minute later, the first ballistic shield is brought through the same door. 11:53. A DPS special agent arrives to maintain the perimeter. Special Agent Luke Williams with the Texas Department of Public Safety arrives. He told the House committee that he disregarded a request that he assist at the perimeter outside the building. He makes his way to the east door on the north side of the building. He begins clearing classrooms and finds a student hiding in the boys' bathroom. 11:54. Onlookers start filming. 21 minutes after the shooter enters the school, an onlooker, Angel Ledesma, streams a live video showing parents begging police to enter the school. 11:56 a.m.
Begging police to let them enter the school, or for the police to enter the school?
No,
police
enter
the school.
Because they don't know there's already police officers in there, so...
11:56. Radio communication fails to provide clarity for law enforcement. An unknown person says over the radio, "It is critical for everybody to let PD take point on this." However, according to Texas House Committee, none of the witnesses they interviewed indicated any knowledge of this communication or what it meant by PD taking point on this. The report concludes officers either assumed Arredondo was in charge or couldn't tell who was in charge. Several people interviewed by the committee called the scene chaos or a clusterfuck. 11:56 a.m. DPS special agent asks about kids in the classroom. As he approaches a group of officers at the intersection of the hallways, DPS special agent Williams hears someone ask, "Y'all don't know if there's kids in there?" Williams says if there is, then they just need to go in. The Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training Center reported this exchange happening at 11:53 a.m. According to DPS and Texas House Committee reports, someone then responds, "Whoever is in charge will determine that." Williams also says there's still kids over here, so I'm getting the kids out, according to on-body camera footage. He later leaves to continue clearing other classrooms after another. Officers pointed out to him that his position would create a crossfire situation. 11:58 a.m. Officer believes Arredondo is with the shooter. A law enforcement officer incorrectly believes Arredondo is in the room with the shooter. When asked about the shooter, the officer responds, "The school chief of police is in there with him." 11:58 a.m. Law enforcement evacuated children from the building through the windows. 12:01 a.m. Law enforcement officers indicate a hostage rescue situation.
12:01 a.m.?
12:01 p.m., sorry.
Oh, I'm like, holy shit.
A DPS special agent indicates that this is a hostage rescue situation and that officers should go in. Someone replies, "Don't you think we should have a supervisor approve that?" 12:03 p.m. Police continue to arrive and a student calls 911. A student calls 911 from room 112 for a minute and 23 seconds and identifies herself in a whisper. The House report said that Chief Arredondo did not learn about the call because he didn't establish a way to get critical information from outside of the building. No radios.
Fucking radio, dumbass.
The Texas House Committee said it received no evidence that any officers who did learn about the phone calls coming from inside rooms 111 and 112 acted on it to advocate shifting to an active shooter-style response or otherwise acting more urgently to breach the classrooms. Meanwhile, at least 19 officers are positioned in the school hallway. School surveillance footage also shows a second ballistic shield being brought through the door the gunman used. At this time, there's 19 officers in the building. School surveillance footage shows people high-fiving, people on their phones.
The officers?
Yes. An officer going up to use hand sanitizer. They're so lax about this situation because they don't know what's going on.
Right. Because someone doesn't have the radios.
Yes. 12:04 p.m. A third ballistic shield is brought into the school. School surveillance footage shows a third ballistic shield being taken through the back door. 12:06 p.m. No command post set up. Police radio logs show that no command post is set up, and other officers are needed to keep parents out of the school. The Texas House Committee report was critical of the lack of command posts, saying it could have been transformed chaos into order, including the deliberate assignment of tasks and the flow of information necessary to inform critical decision making. At this time, there are parents everywhere outside.
I'll bet.
One parent was talking with a group of other parents, and the officers kept telling him like, back off, We got this. We're going to take care of the situation. She's like, my 2 kids are in there. I need to go get my kids. They ended up putting her in cuffs because she tried to go into the building. They put her in cuffs. She finally said, okay, I won't go in. Just get me out of the cuffs. So they take the cuffs off of her, and she bolts into the building. She comes back out. What'd you say?
I said I could have told you that was coming.
She comes back out with one of her children. She bolts back in and gets her second child. She saved both of her kids without a bulletproof vest, without a gun, without anything. And these officers couldn't do shit.
Right.
12:10 p.m. A student calls 911 back. SWAT officers arrive. The student calls 911 again and says multiple people are dead. Meanwhile, more SWAT officers arrive on the scene. According to law enforcement body camera footage, officers in the west hallway will also begin handing out and wearing gas masks. 12:11 p.m. Arredondo requests master key. Arredondo, the chief of the school district's police department, requests a master key, according to law enforcement body camera footage. Finding a master key was a primary focus of his attention for the next 40 minutes, according to the Texas House Committee report. 12:13 p.m. Student calls 911 again. This is the 3rd time this child calls 911.
Same kid?
Yes. By this time, the child had explained that among the dead were several children and one of her teachers. The student said that another teacher was hurt in room 112. 12:15. Border Patrol Tactical Unit arrives. Border Patrol Tactical Unit members carrying shields arrive. Paul Guerrero, acting commander for the tactical unit, entered from the north side of the building. In a statement after the event, Guerrero said he was advised that the subject had possibly shot multiple children and was still in the classroom, according to the Texas House Committee report. 12:16. Student calls 911 once again, saying 8 or 9 students are alive still. 12:17 p.m. Arredondo attempts to test the keys on a different door. School announces active shooter on campus. Arredondo attempts to test numerous keys on a different door, according to law enforcement body camera footage. Meanwhile, Robb Elementary school officials announce on Facebook that there is an active shooter on campus. Onlookers and parents beg for action. At some point during the standoff, onlookers begged police to charge the school, according to the Associated Press. Parents tried to break windows and were not allowed to immediately be reunited with children. 12:19 p.m. Another student calls 911. A student in room 111 calls 911 and hangs up when another student tells her to. 12:21 p.m. Gunman fires again. 4th ballistic shield is brought to school. The gunman fires again. Authorities says he was believed to be at the classroom's door on a 911. Oh wait, the gunman fires again. Authorities say he was believed to be at the classroom's door on a 911 call from a student. 3 gunshots can be heard. School security footage shows 4 rounds are fired. At the same time, school surveillance footage shows a 4th ballistic shield being brought into the hallway. U.S. Marshals officers furnished the shield, which was the only one on scene that was rifle-rated, according to the Texas House Committee report. The committee heard evidence that the rifle-rated shield was the only one that would have provided meaningful protection to the officers against the attackers' AR-15 rifle, the report said. 12:23 p.m. Medical triage set up in East Hallway. School surveillance footage shows Border Patrol medical team members begin to set up medical triage in front of the restrooms in the East Hallway. There were backboards, medical kits, and defibrillator and bleeding control supplies. This indicates that the Border Patrol Tactical Unit likely assumed tactical command of the incident at this time. 12:24 p.m. Law enforcement officers stand in the hallway north of the classroom where the gunman is. 12:25, 12:26, 12:27, 12:28, 12:29. 5 minutes go by without any officers doing anything. 12:30. Officers move closer, anticipating a breach of the classrooms. Officers moved closer to room 111 and 112, anticipating a move to breach the classrooms, which did not end up happening at this time. 12:31, another minute goes by. Officers don't do anything. 12:32, search for keys continues.
Why the fuck do you need keys? Just break the doors down.
So what they explained was the doors were heavy metal doors.
Okay.
It's not like they can use a battering ram to like bust down. But at the same time, they didn't even know these doors were unlocked.
So they didn't even test them then?
They didn't even test them.
Didn't even try?
No. Nope.
Okay, but like also at that point, like fire departments make tools that are meant to like...
Well, that's why they that was the halogen tool.
Oh, yeah.
Not even the halogen, like the hydraulic presses and everything that they use for like vehicle extrication.
Yeah.
Why did we not think about like trying that next?
Yeah.
Fire department would have showed up.
And also, how do they not know where the fucking master key is? Shouldn't it be hanging like in the main office? Hey, master key.
So there were two people in the school that actually have master keys, and that was the janitor and the principal. And I'm
guessing with all the mass chaos, they can't find them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess.
Okay, so 12:32, search for keys continues. Officers continue searching for keys to the classrooms. The Texas House Committee report criticized the long search. With respect to using keys, alert, A-L-E-R-R-T, which is, I don't know, I read it somewhere, teaches that often the quickest, most discreet, and safest method of entering a locked building is to locate a key. As long as keys can be located immediately, but if a key cannot be located, responders should use another technique to enter the area without delay, like you said.
Yeah.
12:33 and 12:34, nothing happens with police officers. 12:35, an officer with a forcible entry tool enters the school. School surveillance footage shows Guerrero, acting commander for the Border Patrol Tactical Unit, entering the back door with a halogen or similar tool. Guerrero attempted to use the tool to pry the door open in the hallway to see if it would work. He determined it would take too long and dangerously expose an officer to gunfire coming from inside the classroom, according to the Texas House Committee report. 12:36, student in room 111 calls back. The same student calls back for 21 seconds and is told to stay on the line quietly.
So this student's in room 111?
Yeah.
And we still think the shooter's in 111?
So 111 and 112 were connected.
So this kid's fucking trying to call with the shooter not far away.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Arredondo attempts to communicate with the suspect. Law enforcement body camera footage shows Arredondo attempting to communicate with the shooter in English and in Spanish. Arredondo periodically tried to communicate with the shooter throughout, including at 12:21 p.m. after shots were fired inside the classroom, according to Texas House Committee report. 12:39, 12:40, 41, and 42, no police action. 12:43, gunman shoots the door. The student tells 911 that the gunman shot the door. 12:45, keys are tested. A law enforcement officer tells the House Committee that a Texas Ranger has a set of keys being tested. In addition, Border Patrol Unit Commander Guerrero also obtained a master key, and another officer advised him to try it on another door first. When the first attempts didn't work, he then received the second master key, which successfully opened the test door. This was the master key that would be used to open door to room 111, even though the door was already unlocked. 12:46, 12:47. Arredondo gives approval to enter. Arredondo gives his approval to enter the classroom. And I quote, "If y'all are ready to do it, you do it," he says. 1 minute later, Arredondo says, he's going in. Tell those guys on the west that they're going in. Let them know," according to body camera footage. However, according to the Texas House Committee report, Arredondo said he did not make the decision for the Border Patrol Tactical Unit to breach the classroom. 12:46 p.m. A student inside the classroom calls 911. "I can hear the police next door." 12:47 p.m. A student inside the classroom calls 911. "Please send the police now." 12:48, 12:49, nothing happens. 12:50. Officers kill the gunman. Shots are heard on the student's call. A team of officers breach the room and kill the gunman, who has been hiding in a closet, and emerges when the officers enter. The Texas House Committee report criticized officers for taking so long to enter, saying that there was an unexpectedly long period of time before officers breached the classroom, neutralizing the attacker and began rescue efforts. Given the information known about the victims who survived through the time of the breach and who later died on the way to the hospital, it is plausible that some victims could have survived if they had not waited 73 additional minutes for rescue. 12:51, children are moved out of the room. From the student's 911 call, officers are moving children out of the room. At that time, the student makes it outside and the call cuts out. 1:06 p.m., police announce shooter is in custody. Uvalde police announced on Facebook that the shooter is in custody. Authorities recanted that information later.
Recanted it?
Yeah.
Because he was shot dead.
He was shot dead. 77 minutes.
Because he got in at 11:20, I think you said, right?
11:30.
Oh, 11:30, okay.
11:30, I believe, 11:30 exactly.
I just remember, the beginning of your timeline, it was like 11, maybe that's when he shot his grandma, or got on the line. Either way, yeah.
I thought it was like 11:20 something like that.
Actually, it was
23, maybe something.
11:33.
Okay, so the 3 right.
You got the 30 right.
So it took 77 minutes to eliminate the threat.
And if they would have tested the door earlier,
and
just tried the fucking handle.
Yeah.
If dude wouldn't have got rid of his fucking radio. Radios, plural.
There were close to 400 police officers on site. 400 police officers. And that includes SWAT, Border Patrol. I believe there were a few different police departments in the area.
Yeah. So, playing devil's advocate again, really quick. Now, the whole radio thing, the not testing the door, that could have cost kids their lives and further trauma going on. But if I'm remembering correctly, the way you stated it, when the main guy got there and dropped his radios, by the time he got to the school, the gunman was already inside and shot up the classroom, right?
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, I don't want to say nothing, but there's almost like nothing that could have been done to stop the initial shooting almost, it seems like.
Yeah.
Just everything afterwards, it could have been solved quicker, and possibly kids that were shot could have been saved instead of dying.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one of the teachers,
mm-hmm.
and I think 2 or 3 of the students that actually held on to life until they got into an ambulance to get to a hospital.
Jeez.
And they could have been saved.
Right. Right. But that's what I like I said, I'm not giving anyone any leeway. All I'm saying is that the initial shooting probably couldn't, like, all their fucking mistakes was after the shooting started. It wasn't like, hey, if we would have done this better, they would have never got shot in the first place.
Right.
This fucking shooter guy is the fucking issue, the asshole. But the after planning or failure to plan and the dropping the shit is what led to, further deaths by them not getting in there in time to save the people, is what I'm saying too. Just, man, it's...
So, on May 24th, 2022, 19 students ages 9, 10, and 11, and 2 teachers, were brutally murdered. Some only able to be identified by DNA or the clothes that they were wearing.
Oh.
Classrooms look like war zones, according to officers. Even many officers had to leave the scene because they became sick. An officer reported that the shooter scooped up blood from one of the victims and smeared it on the whiteboard, spelling out LOL.
If you unloaded over, 100 rounds in...
And this is...
And the high-powered rifles, that close range,
I mean, reports were saying that they were baseball-sized holes in these children.
Yeah.
And there were kids that they couldn't even tell...
What you just read, they had to be identified by DNA. Ugh. Nope.
I wanted to see if I could... So the I want to see if I can find.
So here, just while you're looking for that, Marisol, with you having gone through this training and everything at high school, here's my only. I don't know what. It's not bad or good, but a lot of these times the high school shooters are kids that go to the high school. So if they know all the training, they know what to look out for. Like, that's kind of fucked up too. Like, all that training and lockdown is good for if someone doesn't know what they're doing inside of there. Because, yeah, hey, the classroom looks empty. Let's go on to the next one. But if it's a kid that went through the training with you, they're like, fuck it, it looks empty. I know it's not. They're hanging around the outside. You know what I mean? Like, it's scary shit, man.
I mean, yeah, I guess. But, like, we also, like, I guess now I'm thinking more, too, like, into college and everything. Like, I know, like, at JJC, like, all of our doors are locked. Like, you have to scan to get into, like, a classroom.
Oh.
Like, and you have to be a teacher to scan to get into
Oh,
a classroom.
okay.
So, like, as soon as that door shuts, like, you're locked out.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Listen to this.
Uh-oh.
This was the child that called 911 5 times.
I'm calling with the police. Are you okay?
No, there's a school shooting.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I have multiple units there. Are you with officers or are you barricaded somewhere?
I'm in classroom. What's the classroom number? 1012.
112?
112, yes, ma'am.
What's your name, ma'am?
Chloe Torres, please hurry. There's a lot of dead bodies.
Hold on, okay? You said you're in classroom 112?
Yes, ma'am. Please, seek help.
5 times that child.
That's...
So, the one that called 911, they had interviewed her after and everything like that, and she was saying that her best friend called 911, and the shooter heard. He came and he shot her right in front of her. And Chloe, that's her name, Chloe Torres. In one of the 911 calls, she said that my dad has trained me what to do if this happened. She said that she grabbed blood from her friend and smeared it all over her and pretended to be dead.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a 9-year-old.
Right. Easton's turning 8 this Monday.
Yeah.
I can't see her knowing to do that in a situation like that. Like, first of all, for them to be that young bravo on her to be able to, I don't want to know she was calm, but to stay calm enough and keep her wits about her to know how to do that. Because, shit, as a 45-year-old, I'd fucking freak out if someone got shot next to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know how to react.
The officers really dropped the ball on this. Big time. The mayor, I believe, of Texas, in his statement, he said it could have been worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have.
It could have.
Yes.
It could have been
But
better.
it could have been better.
Yeah.
But it could have been better. To be that insensitive to say it could have been worse.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I bet he didn't get reelected.
God.
His term is up the end of this year. Well, November.
Bet he won't be getting reelected.
Right. Wow.
Chief Arredondo was fired.
There were a few officers that got fired.
I think most of the Uvalde police officers
either lost their jobs or resigned because
Yeah.
they knew what the kind of backlash they were going to face from this.
Yeah. And I just watched the court from 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And holy shit, it's like it was yesterday. I mean, this happened 2 months ago, but it was like the shooting just happened yesterday.
2 years ago.
Well, yeah, I know, but no, I'm saying the court case was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like they were coming out. The families were coming out and speaking.
Yeah. I mean, it's still so fresh.
Yeah.
2 years is not really that long ago.
No.
Yeah, Lupe, I don't have jokes this week. This might be the most serene, impulsive thoughts episode ever. Ooh, good. Welcome, Marisol.
Yeah. Welcome to the team.
I'm just trying to wrap my brain around all of the stupidity that occurred throughout.
Yeah.
Those 77 minutes?
77 minutes.
I just can't, like, and I'm trying to see it from, like, a first responder point of view, right? Okay, so, like, yes, I understand that, like, we can't all just run and be heroes and,
right.
That kind of a thing. But, like, it's just lack of preparation, lack of communication. I'm telling you, as like the first thing that we learn in EMR is that 90% of things go wrong because of lack of communication and coordination.
And the guy, first thing he does is drop his radios.
Yeah.
Like,
there's your communication right there.
I know, again, we're not talking about the shooter anymore, and now you took your headset off, so you're not going to be able to answer.
Yeah, I can.
But, yeah, you'll be able to cut this middle part out when you don't answer. But did he leave a note anywhere? I mean, other than all the warnings he gave already, obviously point blank saying what he wanted to do, did he leave like a suicide note or anything other than his, like I said, blatant shit online? Was there like a manifesto these guys always write? Or was it just, hey, I'm fucking crazy, I'm going to kill these people because... Or was it like the girlfriend broke up with me, that's why I want to do it more? Or was it just all the shit you said leading up to it? Like, that's all there was?
Just all the shit leading up to it. I mean, there was
nothing extra other than what you said already.
Extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, why did he choose that school? Just because it was the closest to his grandma's?
He went to school there.
Okay.
So he was... So it was coming to graduation time for his high school.
Mm-hmm.
And... what they do is they have all the seniors go into the elementary school in their cap and gown, and all the elementary school kids cheer them on and have signs for them and everything like that. So what they were saying is he could have been planning to do this
while the seniors were there.
So he can get some of his old classmates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm speechless this week. I don't have nothing.
And it's just gonna get heavier when I talk about the kids.
And that'll be next week's episode.
So, yeah, yeah. I don't really know what to say. I mean, listening to multiple podcasts, doing all my research on the Texas Tribune and I mean everything that I found online, I could only watch or listen for so much, and I'd be so furious.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to turn it off. Even on my way home from work today, I'm like, let me just pull something up on YouTube really quick to kind of refresh my memory.
Yeah.
I started watching, I'm like, oh my God. This is terrible. Now, with all that being said, what do we do? I mean...
So, earlier I was going to say something when they were talking about, Marisol brought up, I wonder if anything's been put into place now where if they're buying all the accessories, maybe they don't have the gun yet, but also... This is where politics come in, which I don't know shit about politics. I don't want to know shit about politics. I don't want to talk politics. But this is where how much regulation is taking away your rights and how much is not. Is there a database? Oh, hey, Dan Oliver owns 32 rifles, 16 handguns, 3 grenade launchers, and he bought them all within the last 6 months though. What's going on here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much regulation is too much and how much is not enough? At least maybe some kind of red flag. Hey, the kid's not even 18 yet. He bought all these accessories. Okay, wait, the kid turned 18. Now he bought 2 rifles all of a sudden. Okay, maybe you can't stop him. I don't want to say legally or illegally, whatever. Maybe you can't stop them without preventing their constitutional rights, but at least it's not the greatest thing, but Illinois' 3-day waiting period. Okay, that sounds good. That's a start. But what about all right, someone maybe stopping in and, hey, you just bought all that shit. What's going on, homie? But again, is that overstepping bounds too? Like, I don't know what the answer is. I don't have an answer. I think we should have our rights, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing either. Like, take away our rights. No, I don't want to take away our rights.
No, but there should be a way to like regulate these rights. Like,
but then who makes up the decision on how to regulate them and what is the right
ATF.
amount of regulation? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
That's where ATF comes in. Now, Illinois, when I got my concealed carry license and when I bought my gun, the first question they ask, what do you need this for? And, I mean, I answer honestly, and I say,
protection.
well, protection.
yeah.
Or home protection. Yeah. Okay. And then, yes, I have to go 3 days for them to run my name through the database and everything like that. Now, Texas is a very odd state. They have Protect Your Castle law, which means anybody steps foot on your property, you have every right to fucking kill them.
For no reason?
yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Texas is a wild state.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Everything's
for no
legal in
reason
Texas.
whatsoever.
For no reason. If
Like-
you feel threatened,
like-
you can shoot him and kill
Like, if
kill
I
that
tell you,
person.
Lupe, don't come over today, and you step on my lawn, I can shoot you. No, I told him not to come over, and he did anyways.
Obviously,
You don't
you're
even
not
need a
gonna
reason, but-
Right. I mean, obviously, you're not going to say that. You can
Right.
easily say, oh, I felt threatened. He
Yeah.
was here. He was on my property.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yep.
I used to like Texas.
Everything's legal in Texas.
So another thing about Texas, well, actually, it's statewide. I mean, it's nationwide. You can be 18 to buy a long rifle,
Right.
but you need to be 21 to buy a pistol.
Yeah, the rifles are
that make
powerful.
sense.
The rifles are more powerful.
Yes. Make that make sense.
I can't.
Now, I'm not saying, well, he could have waited till he was 21.
Right.
If that law was in play.
Right. Because he still could have got his guns illegally if he wanted to. Like, look how he was asking everybody before he even turned 18.
Right.
Criminals are going to find their way to get their shit.
Thing is he wasn't a criminal.
No, but I mean, like, if that law, he became a criminal because he was a
Right.
murderer, but if he had to wait even longer, look at how much he was, it would have only taken a matter of time before he found the right person to buy it for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if he was that determined to get it, you know?
It's so difficult to try to make any kind of gun laws because right away people are going to be like, "Oh, you're taking away my rights and this and that." And like you said, like it's all politics and I'm the same way. I do not talk politics.
Yeah.
It's just not my forte. Like I don't know enough to
Right.
argue politics. But I mean there's got to be something that they can do. Even if I heard I don't know if it's Australia or
You mean down under?
or England
Good on, mate.
that they actually have to have a psych
Really?
analysis. to
See, and I
get
was thinking
to
about
get a weapon.
like that. Like they keep bringing that up. I've heard a little bit in the news where shouldn't there be a psych thing in America? Like, well, then you're discriminating against people that maybe they went and saw a psychologist once 20 years ago, but they've never had an issue. Like, so it's like, and that's where we get into now away from politics, but what do you call it? Woke America and everyone's getting cancel culture.
Yeah.
I can't say, hey, Lupe, you're gay. Like, as a joke. Like, growing up, that was an insult. It didn't mean I thought you were a homo and you liked doing gay stuff. It just, hey, you're gay. Okay, well now you can't say that because you're offending someone. I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just an insult, you know.
I grew up in the wrong generation. Holy shit.
Because that's what it was. So now even I mean, so again, you can't. You please how to say you can please some of the people all the time and all the people some of the time, but you'll never please all the people all the time. So
yeah,
and especially when it comes to gun laws, again, you say the wrong thing. Oh, I think you should need a psych evaluation. Oh, now you're discriminating against people that have had psych problems in the past.
But I mean, a real like licensed psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be able to tell the difference between someone who has, seen a psychiatrist 20 years ago, maybe struggle with some issues, but has clearly moved past these things.
Right.
Whereas someone that's obviously clearly still dealing with these issues over the course of 20 years, you know what I mean?
And more unstable or something, yeah.
Or made no progress at all. Like
Right.
that. So I don't know.
I feel like it's, I don't know, how difficult is it to, like, hide those kind of, like...
Well, I guess it depends on where on the spectrum you are.
Right.
Right. But specifically, let's go back to this case now. He's fucking putting blatant threats out there and telling people, I'm going to shoot someone up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And no one did shit.
Yeah.
Like,
what
wow.
are they? Yeah, and
like, it's not like this was that long ago. Like,
right.
We're obviously, like, we obviously know, like, government's watching our shit. Like,
oh God, I'm probably on a watch list right now because how much research I did on this.
It's possible. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone maybe called you with some questions later on, dude.
Well, I mean, I've told you before too. Like the way my search engine is it's nothing but serial killers.
Yeah.
And like haunted places and shit.
Or when
like that.
Facebook flagged you the one day because you posted the serial killer.
Yeah. Said I killed him or whatever I said. Like I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. It's yeah.
But. Yeah, like I said, this wasn't that long ago where, nobody knew about it. No, he was on social media 2 years ago saying this shit where how social media, I don't.
And this is obviously, like, as much as I hate to say it, like, this is not the first time that, like, a big school shooting has occurred. Like, this is not, like, it hasn't been, like, it's something that's never happened before.
Right.
Well, would we say, was Columbine the first major one?
The first...
That I can think
First one that I can think of, or was there more before
Honestly,
Columbine?
the first one I remember was Columbine.
Right.
And that was 99.
Yeah, 99.
And I mean, that was...
On that one, they tried blaming the shooting, not blaming it, but because they watched The Matrix a lot and they wore long leather coats of Wanda and they shaved their head and they wore glasses, they looked like Neo. No.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Yeah, you were...
But that's the thing, like...
Oh, yeah, you weren't even born yet then, Marisol.
No, I wasn't even a thought in someone's head yet.
Society wants to blame everything other than the fucking person who did the damn thing itself.
Mm-hmm.
I just, like, and then, too, like, also on top of that, like, I get, like, having a rough home life, like, growing up, like, with all these, like, with all the family shit and everything, like, that's not easy, but, like, I just wonder what goes on in a person's life and in a person's head that drives them to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And like I kind of not hinted at, but like I said earlier, like, why an elementary school? I know you went to school there, but fucking 8, 9, 10-year-olds, what have they done in this world to deserve that? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's better. Hey, go shoot a high school up because they're the ones that bullied you. But again, why elementary? Like, it just makes no fucking sense to me.
Maybe it's like triggering for him because it's like that's when he was starting to get bullied and everything. Like when he was in elementary school.
Yeah, but
so if he's, like,
those kids don't.
Out,
but then that's where this is where again I don't give a fuck because he's dead and he's an asshole. He's just a little bitch. Then I'm gonna go shoot little kids because they can't defend themselves against me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And maybe it ties into what you said. He was planning on doing it when the seniors were gonna be there, but they weren't there, and you went through with it anyways. And again, I don't like talking ill of the dead except for this fucker and some of these weird fucks, but you shot innocent little fucking kids. You're a little bitch. Go against someone that can defend themselves. Yeah. You know? Like, yeah. Sorry. Yep. I feel like you have that anger. Like, I'm on that border between anger and, like, not depression, but, like, just sadness.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'm just disappointed in everything that happened that got us to this point. Like, I don't know what else to say beside that. Like, I'm just disappointed in our justice system. I'm disappointed in the first responders of Texas. Like,
yep.
Yeah, and they say what the first 5-10 minutes are the most crucial minutes of
any
a
kind of
situation
emergency
like this.
Situation, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they absolutely dropped the ball on it all.
I'm also disappointed that they're like thinking like originally when you said like early on in the call like that there's an active shooter. But they're not going to assume that there's any kind of casualties or medical, any of that kind of shit. Like, they're assuming that, like, what do we think we're shooting? Like, the wall? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, to me, it just feels like they very much just didn't take it seriously. Mm-hmm. Like, that they assumed that there was just no real threat here.
Right. And that's what I was saying, like, earlier, when the 19 officers were in the fucking hallway high-fiving each other and...
Putting on hand sanitizer, like, where are our fucking priorities?
Yeah. And texting, and...
Texting, that one blows my... Like, absolutely blows my mind. We can sit on our phone... Well, okay, so here's another thing, right? We've got our phones. Why are we not communicating on that?
Right. If
like, we are living in the 21st century, and you're going to tell me that just because we don't have a radio, we can't find a way to get a hold of each other?
Right.
Preach. Marisol's waking up for the episode.
Good morning. I just had to get comfortable.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up situation.
I don't know. I mean, like, again, playing devil's advocate, I can see a hesitancy from law enforcement,
right,
but not to that degree.
But also to the point Lupe made earlier, the one guy that ran to the exit, nope, I'm not going in there.
Yeah.
You sign up for this.
And this is where, again, I understand you train thinking you're going to be ready for that, and when the moment hits, you don't know how you're going to react. But this is the one time where, okay, hey, I'm in a street with a robber and it's just me and him. Okay, I'm running the other direction. You're in a school where you know there's all these innocent again, it just comes to the kids to me again.
Right.
All these kids. I don't give a fuck how scared you are. If I'm in a situation like that, I know I'm a pussy. I'm scared of shit. But if I know a kid's life I can save by me taking the bullet, I'll die for a strange kid. Not a strange kid, but a stranger's kid.
And there goes our joke.
Yeah. But, like, I'm sorry. Kids need to be protected at all costs. They don't deserve to go through shit like this.
Especially
young.
because they can't protect themselves either. Mm-hmm. Like, that one girl was the 1 in a million % that, like, knew, like,
what to do.
Nobody at 8, 9, 10 years old is realistically teaching their kids how to survive, like, shooting situations like this.
Right.
And it's just sad to think that, like, maybe that is something that, like, we should be teaching our kids, like.
Well, I mean, we discussed how I failed Rain, and she jumps in the van.
Listen, $5 Chuck, Rain is a different story, dude.
She jumps in the strangers' vans for candy and rides home. So
for $5,
right.
She pays them.
She pays them. So, and I'm back.
It's a fucked up situation, and it could have been avoided.
Or at least
not avoided,
minimized.
But
it didn't have to get to the point.
No, it could have been avoided if someone would open their fucking mouth.
Well, yeah,
earlier
that too. But I mean,
and not even open their mouth, but if it would have gotten taken seriously with all the reports.
Yeah. Someone tells you're going to shoot up a school,
what
especially
is the
in
first
today's
thing
nowadays.
Doing calling 911. I don't understand. Like, and I get that, like, I don't know, and like we, like, personally, like, I have dark humor. Like, I've said some really out of pocket fucked up shit before. Like,
I'm sure
if my phone is not listening to me, like, and I am not on a list somewhere, it's a miracle. But, like, I get, like, okay, once or twice, maybe, it's sarcastic. Right. It's a really fucked up joke, but, like, whatever. Like, it's not that deep yet. But, like,
but if it's repeated,
consistently over and over and over, like, at what point are you just not, like, sitting there, like, nope, this is too much for me? Like,
right. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I guess the girl that he had messaged that told her that
the one in Germany.
Yeah, that he shot his grandma in the face or whatever, or in the head. All she said to him was cool, because she didn't believe him.
Right.
And then 5 hours later, she messaged him back after she's seen everything that happened on the news.
He's not responding to you now?
Who's going to tell that girl she's never going to get a response?
I guess she was interviewed by American police.
Really?
Yeah.
Hope she wasn't too bent out of shape about that one.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people were upset about the teacher that propped the door open.
Yeah, but if they found out that it was shut it.
Yeah, but a lot of people were blaming her.
Well, yeah, because it sounded like originally they thought it was still open, but you said it was finally disproved. But to the people's defense, the rules, you're not supposed to prop the door open in the first place. So I understand that, even though that's not where the killer got in.
Yeah, so I guess.
But you still.
I guess a lot of people were harassing her, and to the point where she got severely depressed and she developed a stutter.
Well, everyone needs a person to blame. I just think that like maybe we should do some research before we start. Fingers at people.
Okay, and I didn't even say this, but so 2 teachers died.
Mm-hmm.
There was another teacher that was shot in room 112.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the one that the bullet went through the wall?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
No, that was in room 109.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But the teacher in room 1. No, actually, it was room 111 where all the children died.
Uh-huh.
It was a male. I can't even remember his name right now. I don't know how I'm not remembering his name with all the fucking research I did. But he was shot 4 times. And he laid on the ground for that entire time, bleeding out. And there were people that were blaming him and saying, well, how did you survive? And how come none of the kids survived?
Because he's an adult. Like,
because if
we circulate blood a little bit better.
No, but what he's supposed to do, he shot 4 times.
Right. So he was initially shot once and he dropped to the ground. And I think in statements he said that he completely stayed quiet, but he said it was very weird because everything else was quiet. But I mean, at that time, all the kids were already slaughtered. Mm-hmm. Everybody in room 111 was killed, except for him. And he said that the shooter came up to him, poured water on him to see if he would have a reaction. Didn't move.
Oh.
He said that his phone was constantly ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. He put the phone on top of his head and let it ring on his head to see if he would have a reaction. No reaction. Finally, he shot him one more time in the back.
At least he didn't shoot him in the head because that would have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's really all about like where you get hit, but also too like kids like adults, like they go into shock a lot slower than kids do.
Right.
Like, so for adults it's like progressive, whereas like for kids, like they'll be fine and then all of a sudden like everything just drops. Like all of their levels just drop, and that's basically it for them.
And not only that, like little kids they're Easton size.
Like I said, I pictured Easton.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot. They lose blood a lot quicker.
Yes.
Like it doesn't take a whole lot more for them to.
And also, depending how big this teacher was, whether he was a normal size adult or big like me, it's going to do considerable damage. But a baseball size to an adult is a lot less of your body weight than baseball size to an 8-year-old.
Do you know where the first shot was? Like where he got shot at initially?
Back? I can't remember.
Well, because I was just thinking too, like depending on where he got shot, obviously, like the location of the gunshot makes a big difference. If you don't hit like a major artery or like a major organ, like your chances of surviving are a little bit better. But also, like bullets ricochet off of things in your body, and that's where a lot of the damage comes from too. Mm-hmm. But another thing is too, like if he got shot, like say he got shot like on like in his chest or something. Mm-hmm. But if he's laying on the ground like on his chest, like he's still got some kind of pressure like trying to stop the wound, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Where like kids, that's not going to be their first thought is like how can I like stop the bleeding? Like
Yep.
Anyway, guys, you can find us on all your major podcast platforms. On Instagram at impulsive_thoughts_pod. Facebook,
Impulsive Thoughts, Snapchat or TikTok or YouTuber.
We don't have those things, do we?
No, we don't.
I didn't think so.
I mean, we have a
TikTok,
TikTok, but
that's it.
Snapchat, Uber, whatever.
Uber.
What are you gonna? We gotta come up with something good then. It's gotta be just as good as $5 Chuck.
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought Only Dan's was working pretty well.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm still waiting for like your official cancellation.
Well, once you get accepted into the pod, I'm gone. You're my replacement.
Wait, so does this mean you guys liked me? Am I invited back next week?
I say thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, you'll be a part 2 of the sad episode if we're going to finish off the stories you got.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was invited anyways. I already started this.
But all right, guys. It's been an episode.
Before you close all the way out, again, I want to say it, and now that it's not in the middle of the sadness, but yes, my baby girl, not the babiest of the babies, but Eason turns 8 Monday, June 3rd. She'll be 8 years old. So.
Getting so big.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead, you can close this out now.
Guys, go listen to our friends. You got MK, MMKAY, Memento Mori, and Stir the Pot.
Yeah.
Go listen to them. Give them a shout out. Well, we're giving them a shout out, whatever. And I'm Lupe, joined here with Mr. Dano.
Good night, Mike.
No, Don, but we have our
new-ish, possibly,
sort of,
possibly
maybe
permanent
fentanyl
host, Marisol.
Aww. I can tell that really hurts you to get out.
Say goodnight, Marisol.
Good night.
Remember, guys, don't believe everything you think. We out this bitch. Peace.